list a few of them. You notice these headlights? These headlights have actually been designed for the aerodynamics of the vehicle. It's actually designed to dampen the noise of the rear of the mirrors. So people say they're really goofy looking, but everything on this vehicle suits a purpose. Also, the underbody of the vehicle is completely sealed. When I say sealed, Nissan's incorporated technology from the racing circuit. If you look at underneath the vehicle here, you'll see fins to help with the aerodynamics of the vehicle all throughout here. Again, it's all sealed on the bottom. Rear backup cam, solar panel, and right down here with their antenna element. This has been redesigned several times just to make sure it's quiet. I think the number was roughly 6 to 7 times. The vehicle comes standard with a navigational system, 6-speaker sound system, 6 airbags, side curtains included. It does have Bluetooth capability. It also has 2 ports inside the vehicle, one for USB and one also for a standard 1/8" jack. So if you want to take your iPod, just go ahead and plug it in. It's got of course, the unique paradigm switch, the shift actually. This comes back. It looks like the mouse, but it's all done electronically along with the brakes. See that's on. Those are some of the key elements of the Nissan Leaf.
Okay, this is the battery room, and these are the actual batteries in the Nissan Leaf. Feel free to take photos if you want to, because this may be the last time you actually see these batteries. For the rest of the time, you'll be sitting on top of them. And the batteries are all hermetically sealed inside that black container there, and each of those silver rectangular things is a battery module. They're either laid flat and stacked on top of one another, or laid side to side and stacked that way near the front of the vehicle. As their name implies, they are modular. So if within the 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty for those batteries, you should experience some sort of problem, it's very easy for a technician to drop the battery pack down from underneath the vehicle and open up that sealed container and then replace just a singular individual battery module rather than replacing the entire battery pack. Although the 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty does cover any kind of manufacturing defects, it doesn't cover degradation of the batteries. Right? These batteries are expected to have 10 years of original storage capacity. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that, just like a flashlight goes dimmer and dimmer as you use up the energy stored, in the batteries, the Leaf will do the same thing. Okay, the lights will still shine as bright, don't worry. The car will still go over 90 miles an hour, and it will still go 0 to 60 in under 10 seconds. However, you might not get that 100-mile range that you did at the beginning in 10 years. You may only get 80 miles. Or 75 miles. And that really depends on how many miles you've driven the vehicle at that point. When the vehicle's brand new, the average range is 100 miles. And that's based on our testing. We've experienced ranges of 62 miles under heavy loads and under really adverse conditions. We've also experienced a range of 138 miles under optimal conditions and light loads. Right? On the website listed on your wristband is a list of, I think, 7 scenarios whereby we've gotten those range numbers. The 100 miles is still an average for us in testing. Okay? So if you drive the vehicle in stop-and-go traffic, you may actually get more than 100 miles. However, if you have a heavy foot and you like to go fast, you will get less than 100 miles worth of range. And that's just the nature of the beast. Now, these batteries power an electric motor. The electric motor drives the front wheels. When you're stopped, or when you're stuck in traffic, quote-unquote, or at a red light, when the front wheels aren't moving, there's no reason for that electric motor to continue spinning. So it's stationary. So when you're idling, the car will sit for, an easy 8 hours and not wear down the battery entirely. Right? So if you're stuck in traffic, it's not going to drain the battery. Now, the front wheels and the electric motor, when you're slowing down or when you're coasting, the motor turns into a generator, and that's what everybody calls regenerative braking. So when you're braking, the car will be charging its batteries. There's also an eco mode, because owners of the Leaf will learn to drive the car a little differently than they might their gasoline-powered car to maximize the efficiency of the vehicle. But it is not a perpetual motion machine, and you will need to plug it in eventually. You can plug it in two ways at home. You can literally pull an extension cord out of the trunk and plug it into the wall. And that will work at any household outlet. However, what's the voltage coming out of your household outlet, your wall? 110 or 120. Let's just say it's 120. Some folks have 110. But at 120 volts, charging up 24 kilowatt hours of electricity is gonna take a long time. Right? It's like taking a shower with just a small little trickle of water coming from that faucet. So it'll take about 20 hours to charge up using your household outlet. However, that can be done. Now, the other way of home charging is a home charging station, which is a dedicated line run into your house that runs on 240 volts of electricity. So you increase the voltage, therefore the time to decrease is by less than half, actually. So your time to charge with an at-home charger, which is like the ones you see on the wall back there, is about 7 to 8 hours. You'll be happy to learn that the home charging stations and the trickle charger utilize a universal plug. So all electric vehicles will be able to plug in using that outlet. All right? Just like European cell phones that all use the same type of charger. Right? What a novel idea. Huh? So all electric vehicles or EVs will use the same plug for those type of charging from 2011 onward. Now, there is a third type of charge, but this is not a home charging station. This is not something you're going to get at home. This is not something that you have the energy to get at home. And for the cost, you can buy 2 Leafs and charge one and drive the other. Okay? Because these are ridiculously expensive units. So the fast charger, which is the third type of charger, will charge up these battery packs in about 30 minutes, but it will charge it to 80%. So there's a limit. It'll charge it up in 30 minutes, but only 80%, or roughly 80 miles. But those will most likely be found along major interstates, at utility substations, or at big commercial manufacturing sites where they have the type of electricity, 480 volts, to charge up the car in that period of time.
Can I ask a question on that? What's the amperage of that 480 volt charge?
At times it can go up above 150 amps. So it's a lot. I mean, it's basically everything you got coming into your house. Yeah. Which is why it's not a home charging option. Right now, AAA is working on a solution for that quick charging to be put on the back of a truck and to be carried around to Leaf owners if they do run out of charge. We actually have a DC generator over there that we've been hauling around for 5 months with us that will charge one car in about 25 minutes, and it will charge 14 of them overnight in a 7-hour period. So that's the type of solution that AAA is looking forward to. Nissan Leaf owners will enjoy 3 years of roadside assistance, courtesy of Nissan for the first 3 years of ownership. Okay? So that is a part and parcel of owning a Leaf. Now, Nissan has been building electric vehicles since the mid-40s, late 40s, but they really started to do research and development into battery technology, this exact battery technology, in the early 90s. And what happened as a consequence was that in 1996, Nissan built the world's first electric vehicle to run on lithium-ion batteries. So before your cell phones, computers, and all the other hardware had lithium-ion batteries, Nissan was building batteries for electric vehicles that had the same kind of properties. Now, we've learned some things over the years, and these are a lithium-ion polymer-based battery. Okay? They are half the weight of conventional lithium-ion batteries and about twice as energy dense. Now, you can expect, because Nissan has been researching and designing batteries for 20 years, that they're going to stop now, right? No, probably not. Right? They're most likely going to research and design batteries for the next 20 years, maybe even longer, to maximize the efficiency of the batteries. So in 10 years, if the life expectancy of the batteries is up and you're not getting 80 miles anymore or not getting 70 miles anymore, and you want to replace the Leaf battery with a newer, more efficient battery, the design of this car is such that it will accommodate future batteries. So there is that possibility. Now, the big question that results from this discussion is how much do the batteries cost today? So we can tell how much the projected cost might be in 10 years. It's difficult to say because I haven't heard anything directly from Nissan about how much these batteries cost today to manufacture. The car in total is about $33,000 before federal tax credits and incentives. But I don't know what the batteries cost today, so it's very difficult to project 10 years ahead what the batteries might cost then. However, how many vehicles, how many Leaf vehicles is Nissan manufacturing in 2011? 20,000 for US, 50,000 worldwide. How many Leaf vehicles are going to be manufactured in 2012? Another 55,000, right? So in 10 years, it's really a question of economy of scale. How many vehicles will be built in 10 years, and how much will manufacturing costs come down as a result of that? And those are things that I wish I could have. Look into my crystal ball and find out, but I can't. It's just unknown at this point, right? But be sure that Nissan will continue to refine the concept of battery-powered electric vehicles and continue to make batteries that fit into the existing places of older EVs. So that is a concern. Yes, absolutely, and that's a good question. After the batteries have, have been used up in terms of their automotive life, Nissan expects that when you're looking for a new battery for your Leaf, where are you going to go? You're not going to go down the street to the other auto dealership. You're going to come back to Nissan to talk to them about putting in another battery. So what they'll do is take the old batteries back and then sell those batteries to a wind farm or a solar energy farm, which harnesses the power of natural resources during the day when we're not using up so much energy for our utilities. And what they'll do is actually harness that power, store it in these batteries that have exhausted their automotive use, and then pump that back into the system during peak hours between 4 and 9 p.m. at night or something like that. At the end of their life, you can extract the lithium, the ion, you can even recycle the steel and the metals and things like that in the batteries. It may not be cheap to do that, but yes, that is the plan, to recycle all of those elements at the end of their life total. At the end of the car's life, FYI, it is over 95% recyclable. There are some fluids in there, brake fluid and some grease and things like that that are not recyclable, but 95% of the car is recyclable. So for filling up 24 kilowatts of energy, to do that at home at 12 cents a kilowatt of utility rates, it's going to be about $2.80. So to go 100 miles worth of range is going to cost you $2.80. And remember that if you charge every night, every morning, you have a full charge or a full tank of energy to go 100 miles. So that's the new filling station is essentially your garage or your parking space. The federal government mandated legislation in December saying the same thing for all electric vehicles. But Nissan was already ahead of this, and they actually installed that artificial sound, and it only works from 0 up to about 20 miles an hour when you're accelerating, and from 24 miles an hour down to 0 when you're decelerating. That's the sound.
Yeah.
And that's somebody driving one of the cars. No, it is an artificial sound. I don't know what it is. It's definitely not organic, but there is an off button if you really want to shut it off, if you want to sneak home, if you have curfew or something like that. You can do that. Sneak up on your neighbor if you want to. It's totally fine. Now, to communicate with your car, to maximize the efficiency, I think I spoke of eco mode. in the last room. So there is an eco mode in the car that actually makes the car 10% more efficient. And it does that on a couple different levels. You'll find out from your right seat driver how it does that while you're driving it, and you'll get a chance to experience it while you're driving it too, so I don't want to ruin the fun for you. But there's also ways that you can maximize the efficiency even before you drive the vehicle. Namely, you can charge the Leaf at a certain time of day. If you are concerned about overloading the grid, you can wait until 9 o'clock to charge. You can set a timer to start charging the car when you want to. You can also set a timer for the heater or air conditioning in the car. So if you know that you leave every morning for work at 8:15, you can set a heater timer to come on at 5 after 8 to warm your car up in the garage or in your parking space before you unplug it. That way you're charging the car and you're supplying a source of energy to heat the car at the same time. Now, this can be done through your iPhone because we've got an app for that, obviously. Or you can do this through your Android or BlackBerry through the web browser. Right? You can also do this if you have an internet connection at home. Anybody have that? So you can sit at your home computer and program your car. You cannot drive your car from your home computer. Okay? And you do not get an iPhone with the purchase of a Leaf. Okay? Those are sold separately. But there is an app for that. All right? What the climate control allows you to do is maximize the efficiency of the car, because when you are running the heat primarily and the AC secondarily, you will use up a little bit of energy from the batteries to cool the car or to heat the car. So to do that before you unplug is the best way to drive the vehicle. That way the climate is a nice set temperature, and it takes a lot less energy to maintain that temperature, this is Physics 101, than it does to change the temperature inside a room 1 degree up or 1 degree down. You can still cool the car down in the parking lot, while you're leaving the movie theater, or after, spending some money on Big Mom's House 2, if that's what you're watching. But you'll get to the car and realize, man, I just used up maybe 6, maybe 7 miles worth of range to keep the car nice and cool. Right? So there's the trade-off there. There's also a way that the telecommunication system works with the satellite navigation in the car. The sat-nav will download all the available charging stations based on this telecommunication software. Right? So the same feature that allows you to communicate with your car via cell phone or internet connection allows the car to download charging stations via that same internet connection. And the system is called CarWings. CarWings is a lot like OnStar. It works on GSM signal. And a lot like OnStar, is a subscription-based service, but for the first 3 years, CarWings will be free for Leaf owners. After that, Nissan hasn't released subscription rates at this point.
Hey, do you remember the 1972 Arab oil embargo? I do. You remember long lines at the gas station and being rationed 3 gallons at a time? People were even fighting over gasoline? Well, I do. Are you tired of people like Muammar Gaddafi controlling what you spend on energy? Well, I am. So don't follow, lead. Get an all-electric Leaf. It's the answer for the future.